Hey everyone, it's Jackie Teddick here at the Garden Flower Farm in Perry, Oklahoma. Haven't been on here doing videos in a while. Last video I made we were living in town and I had a really small first year flower farm. We are still small scale but just slowly growing more things. We're here out in the country now. So any of you who are from around here, you probably know the Teddicks, my husband's grandparents. This is their land and they've really kindly allowed me to grow flowers while we're out here living on their land. We're in the process of building our own house north of town, and that'll be our permanent location. But for this year we're out here in the pasture just growing as many flowers as we can. And life is a little wild with babies running around and a whole lot of weeds and a whole lot of fun. So I wanted to give you a quick tour and show you what I have growing. So here I have some raised beds. My goal was perennials in here and a few flowers that I wanted to keep a closer eye on. So I have some Dara here. This just reseeded. This is some blue Eryngium that I have. It'll turn a beautiful shade of blue when it's ready. Lysianthus I am so excited about. They are very, very slow growing. I started these, I got plugs last October. And actually lost a lot of them when we moved, but these ones that have grown I'm just so excited about. They're gorgeous. Over here this is my bed of weeds. For some reason the weeds just overtook this bed. I have random things in here, Queen Anne's lace, Celosia. I did have some lilies, but they just got completely overtaken by weeds. So if you are growing flowers and have a lot of weeds, just it's okay, because I do too. Over here I have some salvia and more celosia that's popping up everywhere. Puppy, don't eat that flower, honey. Coreopsis is the yellow one. These little green plants are a Shasta daisies, more weeds, and more celosia. It just comes up everywhere. So if you plant this, it will reseed everywhere, which is wonderful, but it will be everywhere. I have a little bit of Dusty Miller. I'm trying to grow this, I think. I need to keep trying because I only have 2 plants that made it, but that's a bit of an experiment this year. I have over in this bed, these are chrysanthemums that I started from little plugs, and they are all different varieties of football mums. So hopefully they will be beautiful here in the next few months. I'll have some nice big flowers coming out of this bed. Down here it doesn't look like much, but I have kind of an assortment of things. Okay, so these two, last year my dahlias all rotted in our wet spring. Dahlias I am trying to grow from tubers primarily so that you get a true to variety flower. Right here, as sad as it looks, this one and this one are my 2 that have actually survived so far from tuber. So I'm just experimenting with dahlias. I have a whole lot of seed dahlias that I've started as well, just to learn what I can about growing them. I've got a little carnation, a rudbeckia. Most of my rudbeckia seeds just didn't make it very long. This is a solidago. It'll be a pretty filler hopefully towards the end of the summer. Over here I have lilies, and I have 25 sabor lilies. I can find a picture of what those are like, and a mix of lilies here. Eucalyptus I am so excited about, because last year my eucalyptus just didn't make it much bigger than seedlings, but I have a lot of weeding that needs doing, but it's starting to branch nicely, and hopefully we'll just keep getting big throughout the summer, as big as I can get that, and I will hopefully have some lovely eucalyptus bunches by the end of the season. I have milkweed over here that I will use in bouquets as well. More eucalyptus on the side. And over here I have, in this really overgrown patch, definitely planted them too close together. So if you're growing pumpkins, give them more space than I did. But these pumpkins all volunteers from my compost last year that were just coming up everywhere, and they are doing pretty well. I've kind of just let them do their thing. I have some white pumpkins, some orange ones, some big green ones in there. So they are going to be fun to see what happens with those by the fall. I think I counted about 90 pumpkin plants over here. So I also have a bunch of amaranth that reseeded. It, like Celosia, sheds these tiny seeds everywhere. So up here, just kind of an assortment of things. My main bed is down at the end of the field. We're also working on a sunflower house for Liliana, my oldest, my 5-year-old. It's very small and a little bit munched on by deer right now, but hopefully this will be a sunflower house with a zinnia pathway just for fun for the kids. So we just put up some deer netting over here because the deer finally found my flowers. They've been munching down sunflowers, and I had a second succession of lilies that sadly the deer got all but 4 of them. I had 50 planted and now I just have 4. So we got this kind of temporary fence put up. It is 7 feet high, this netting, and this kitty managed to get under. It's not super strong. I don't know. I think if a deer is really determined, he'd probably get in. But for now, it's helping to deter them. Okay, so behind me here, this is my main row of zinnias. This year I'm growing mostly the Bean-Aries giant variety, so I have a lot of this lime color and then a whole bunch of mixed colors as well as white. And here in Oklahoma, we pretty much, a lot of the zinnias get powdery mildew, so I'll have another succession of zinnias hopefully coming. I'm gonna just cut these grasshoppers. Ugh. So the grasshoppers, have been terrible this year. They are just everywhere. So if you're watching and you have any tips about grasshoppers and how to stop them eating everything, I would love to hear. I've not sprayed anything. I want to keep things as friendly as I can for the pollinators as well as kids, but anyways, the flowers that are not getting eaten by grasshoppers, or the ones that are surviving, these are the zinnias. And the Bean-Aries giants, they are nice and big. They have these really big, a lot of them are double flowers, and they are wonderful. So we'll see how this netting does. So far it's keeping the deer out, but I don't know how well it's going to hold up, especially in our crazy windstorms we get. I've got space in here for a next succession. When the first zinnias start getting the mildew, we will put new ones right in here at the end. So this was my first succession of sunflowers. I grow Pro Cuts. I've really liked the Pro Cut Horizon this year. These seedlings look really sad. I actually just got these in the ground today. They were just eaten up by grasshoppers before I even got them in the ground. So unfortunately they are a little sad looking, but I hope they'll still flower. So this is an experiment to see if baby sunflowers that have been just eaten up by grasshoppers might still have a chance to flower. So you can see the remains of, gosh, those grasshoppers. The remains of my previous sunflowers were here. They did great. The zinnias I have on drip irrigation because they do not like too much water overhead. We're trying something new this year with everything here on this side has these overhead wobblers to water them. It's a little more cost effective than the drip irrigation, was a little easier to run. So we're trying that out this year. This was my next succession of lilies. You can just see the grasshoppers jumping everywhere as we walk through here. The deer just munched down almost everything. You can see 4 of them are still growing. So too bad they're not going to flower, I don't think, this year, but I'm hoping that they will next year. So we'll just let them grow. I have marigolds coming here. Cosmos is the greenery right there at the end. I don't have any flowers yet, but hopefully that's coming. These that look like weeds are Echinops retro. It's like a pretty blue round thistle flower. It's okay, puppy. It's okay. I have some gladiolas, some different colors in there. Some of the plants are not looking too happy. I'm not really sure what happened, but I've had some really nice cuts from the gladiolas already. Here in the middle I've got a little bit of mint, and then most of these are seed dahlias. So when you grow dahlias from seed, you don't know what you're going to get. They'll most likely be like an open-faced flower, but for me it's a great opportunity to just learn what I can about growing dahlias. What is that cat doing? I'm going to just set in between the rows here. So I had bachelor buttons at the end. They are kind of on their way out now. Some Sweet William, dianthus, a little bit of the pinky you can see. These were just birdseed sunflowers that just kind of grew, and I left them here to try to keep the grasshoppers off everything else. You can see they've just been eaten up. I haven't cut anything from these sunflowers, but the leaves have just been completely eaten by the grasshoppers. So I have some dahlia buds here that I'm very excited to see what kind of flowers they will produce. So these are little marigolds. They will be these white, kind of light yellow, white swan marigolds. I've really enjoyed those this year. I'd like to grow some more of those lighter colored marigolds. They don't have the strong smell that a lot of marigolds have, and they're really, really pretty. This grassy stuff here is Cresspedia, billy balls, sunball Cresspedia, and unfortunately the grasshoppers have been just eating off these stalks before I've had any flowers. This one is trying to. You can see this little yellow ball on the end, but most of them I'm just finding on the ground. They've just been chewed up, which is too bad. Right here I have Gomphrena, a few different colors. I would love to have so much more of this, but this is what made it out into the field this year. I've got some pinks and reds. A little bit of Sweet Annie is the greenery on the end. Just a lot this year that I'm trialing to see how it grows, to see what I like, to see what works well for bouquets. Here after the marigolds I have some different yarrow, and we get a lot of, I don't know how to say it, yarrow. We get a lot of the white yarrow growing wild here in the fields. But this is going to be all different colors. You can see this is just starting, it's like a pinky color. So all in here should be different colors of yarrow. It's okay, baby. And let's see, a little bit more Dara. These that look kind of like tomato plants, this is Apple of Peru. I've only used it a little bit. It kind of has these fun little green lanterns. As the flowers fade, they turn to these little cute little lantern seed pods that are kind of just a fun texture to add to bouquets. I have another pumpkin plant, you guys, here in the middle of my field. I don't even know how it got there. It's just growing here. Pumpkins are all over the place. I didn't use any of my compost in this patch, but still there's a pumpkin. Snapdragons, I love these flowers. Mine did not do well at all this year. I got them planted out too late, and they like cool weather. So my snaps are really short. I haven't used most of them. They just are blooming short this year. So a lot of grass still growing up through these holes as well. Straw flowers, I have a few here. Some of my straw flowers, some of my flowers in general, I'm suspecting Aster yellow's disease, which is spread by a leafhopper bug. So I've pulled out a few that look a little weird, but I've definitely got some nice straw flowers. Okay, like this one. This doesn't look normal to me. You can see here this like weird growth. Instead of forming flower buds, it just has these weird like leaves on top. So I am suspecting Aster yellows, and I'm just gonna pull that plant because it looks weird and throw it away. So I'll take that later to the trash. I think this is Aurak, this red one. I don't actually know what to do with it, so I need to read up on like when to harvest it and what to do with it. A lot of Queen Anne's lace here coming up. And Celosia over here on the left. I've got some really fun, vibrant colors. I feel like I can never have too much Celosia, and I have so much of it. It's just all over the field and all over in raised beds instead of where I want it in a nice patch right here. But that is looking beautiful. I'm loving this pink, bright pink Celosia. I've got a little bit of baby's breath in here, and coming up a whole pile of basil, which I love using in bouquets. The basil just gives it a really wonderful fresh fragrance, so I love adding that. I don't know what that is that a weed? I don't know. A bit of baby's breath, just trying that out, see if I like it. This basil is just beautiful. It smells amazing. It does really well here. It did great for me last year, so I'm really excited to have that to use. Back here I have a couple different kinds of cress. I think one is Persian cress and one is maybe like green dragon cress, I don't remember. But there's this, as the flowers fade, it has these cute little seed pods on here. And then I think this is the Persian cress, also has these really cute seed pods as it dries and as the flowers fade. What else? Up here I have, this is Coral Fountain Amaranth. It's got these fun drapey pieces. These are pretty big, even though I pinched them, so they're kind of fun for any like bigger, more dramatic arrangements, but they have these cute drapey kind of hanging pieces. And let's see, Status. I've been harvesting a lot of that. This is the blue Zika Status, I think. I might get some of these names wrong. I don't even know, you guys. Oh, I think this is some Scabiosa that's randomly trying to grow here in the middle of the basil. And some more cress. There's like random things, like the seeds just got everywhere. More gladiolas here. These ones look happier than the ones at the other end of the row. So I've got this pretty pink. And I had a lot of purple. I've got a lot of grasshoppers. You guys. Ugh. Okay, that's really gross. This is what I do with my grasshoppers. Guys, these things are evil. I hate these so much. They're just destroying everything. If you love grasshoppers, I'm sorry. And let's see, more gladiolas in here. Back over here, my next succession of sunflowers, there were about 120 of these. But I lost a bunch to deer, and you can just see the leaves have been eaten up by grasshoppers again. Thankfully, most of the flowers I try to cut before the bugs get to them, so they just eat the leaves and I can still use the flower. A lot of these are ready to cut. This is the stage I try to cut these just as the petals are starting to lift up from the flower. So that I can keep them cool until I'm ready to use. Some of these are a little smaller than I would like. I'm just experimenting with different spacing. With these sunflowers, the further apart you plant them, the bigger the heads will be, the closer you plant them. More smaller, usable flowers for bouquets. Some of these are a little on the small side. But you guys, I've had what I think are head clipping weevils, where they just eat through the back of your sunflower. Grasshoppers and deer. There's a whole bunch here on the ends where the heads are just missing because the deer just munched them down. So hopefully more of them. You can see actually more on this side that have really been munched by the deer. On this side, a bunch that have just been chewed up by the deer. That's a lot of what I have growing for right now. Lavender as well I'm working on, trying to grow. But yeah, thanks for coming on this little garden tour. We're losing light here, and I want to get some sunflowers cut here before the sun goes down while the weather is cool this evening. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.